Hey, how's it going? I felt compelled to do a little video today on the topic of frequency and attitude because, admittedly, I've been in a low frequency space the last couple of days, getting overwhelmed with the disconnect with everyone I've known for my entire life, and millions of people that are basically complicit in this agenda to get vaccinated and masked and to let this satanic agenda dominate. It's easy to get upset and angry and just completely off-put. Where do you go? What do you do? How do you fight against the wave of intensity against you from one perspective? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the ratio being so off? How are we ever gonna accomplish anything or help people? It can be very intense and discouraging is a word. So yeah, discouraging. I've been very discouraged the last couple of days, Just, do I run to the forest? Do I just figure out how to make as much money as I can and live in the matrix in the healthiest way? And everyone has their own solution, yeah, and it's all important. The farms need to exist in some capacity, and people need to make money and trade in some capacity. My answer, my solution is the schedule, in terms of taking responsibility for each half hour of your day and controlling the time, instead of just finding yourself led from one thing or the other, and you're just feeling shitty watching Facebook, then you feel shitty so you watch a movie, or then you feel shitty so you do whatever you do. But what's more important is the control of the time, and understanding that when you make a decision for your time and you're meditating or praying, whatever word you want to use, with the great spirit or the great architect, or whatever word you like, you're actually following the will of the Supreme Person, and that's kind of exciting. You're stepping up and you're saying, I'm going to do what I can for this half hour for the goodness of everybody, for the welfare of everybody, for the pleasure of your will, because we are spiritual beings, and this little thing here on earth is very temporary. So there's a bigger, narrative happening. And I forget that, I'm the first one to say that I easily get taken down into low frequency because of my conditioning, my subconscious conditioning, how I grew up and everything, and the influences around me. I definitely get into a place, a friend called it the fuck it's, right? And just fuck this, fuck that, fuck everything, fuck it. I give up, I concede. But that's what everyone else has done, with the masks and the vaccines. And it's interesting, when I speak to people on Facebook, you can see the people that are the most scared, because they'll start insulting you, right? They'll say because you're a stupid idiot, or your argument's invalid because you're dumb, which is dumb, But I get it, man. It's people are scared, people are angry, and there's a whole other video for that, because there's a reason for that. But my point today with this video is if I find myself stuck in this zone of apathy and lethargy, what do I do, And honestly, the person that's really cracked me out of the shell is Grant Cardone. He's pretty cool. I'll put the link up on the video, but basically his whole point of view is to create value for others. And if you create value for others, then they exchange value with you, right? Like the Native Americans did, Hey, I made these arrowheads. Great. Can I have some corn that you grew? You figured out how to grow it. Great, let's trade. So, if you don't create that value, then no one's going to trade with you. And then you're not going to be able to be as abundant, you know? So what he's teaching is a 10x method of whatever your goals are, expand them by 10 times, you know? So I find that to be compelling, because that's going to change the flow of your schedule, right? Like if you write a week out and you take responsibility for each half hour, if you're 10xing your life, pretty soon you're gonna realize, like, dang, dude, this whole entire schedule needs to change, and I probably need to work a lot more, and I probably need to cut a lot of like nonsense out of my life, you know? And so his take on responsibility and integrity and massive action is, to me, extremely spiritual and pure and encouraging. And so, you know, I caught one of his videos this morning, and I'm just like, yeah, man, don't be a little bitch, you know? Take responsibility, don't complain, like, just have faith that, like, we're spirit workers out here. We're here for a purpose. God is more powerful than, I hate these terms because people get, like, you know, compartmentalized by language. The great architect is better than the great destroyer, you know what I mean? Lightness is more strong than dark, and that's a fact, you know what I mean? So it's like, let's be the light and let's just have faith, man. And the greatest example of somebody that, you know, externally seemed like could have been suffering or in great pain, or why me, or conflicted, was Jesus Christ. And I know people have divisions on the Bible and the authenticity of all that, but in terms of philosophy, like objectively, without pinning it to like an actual person, a historical person, the philosophy checks out. It really does, especially or maybe essentially the Gospels, you know? And here's a person that's being tortured, and what he's teaching is his love is so great and his compassion is so great, he's actually not experiencing pain, you know? And so that's an inspiration for me, because, you know, we've got these 5G towers coming up, and they are going to be projecting frequency that's going to damage our DNA. I mean, that's just a fact, and it's off-putting, but you take it in stride, you know? If you're in the spiritual world and you're doing the work, you know, what's the difference between being zapped by 5G rays and being nailed to a cross, having the flesh like stripped off your body with barbed wires? I mean, it's really not like that comparable, you know? So if he can maintain this consciousness, so can we, you know? So I think that's part of, Grant Cardone says that a lot, don't be a little bitch, you know? I think that's part of us not being a little bitch, not having any excuse not to go out there and help people. And if we have to get radiated, fucking all right, dude. I'm at the point even that, like, if the protocol comes, man, if the evil and intensity comes, and I gotta get like a vaccine or a microchip in this beautiful temple of the Lord, then that's what it takes, man. That's the nature of the material world. Like, this isn't our home, it's not utopia, it's a rehabilitation center, right? We're here to do the work of the Lord. We're here to wake people up. And if we have to experience some material suffering, well, then it's our responsibility to transmute that into joy and to not experience suffering, you know? So it's kind of like, when you're not attached to the body and you know you're not going to die because you know you're eternal and you know the material world isn't your home, you're kind of bulletproof, man. And the joy and the fearlessness is palpable, and that's how you stay at that high frequency. So in my point of view is, all right, so they're radiating our cells and they're radiating our DNA, but our frequency in terms of attitude and love for God and compassion and love for others, it can counteract that poison, you know, with the pure joy for helping others and the confidence that the light will overcome the dark. And that's the kind of vibe I'm on right now, thanks to Grant Cardone, grantcardone.com. But in your own life, I think what's critical, if you are living at a farm or not, to really start thinking about a business and becoming an entrepreneur, especially online. It's really easy. I mean, you could make crafts and sell them on Etsy and Instagram and make like $10,000 a month if like you figure it out. And there's a formula that you can figure out. It's not possible. So I would really think about a service or product that you can sell and get behind and own, and then 10x that bitch, you know? Figure out how to like make it scale and make it grow, and how to get investors. And, you know, these demons have figured out how to take advantage of the idea of money, the concept of money, the concept of exchange. And of course now the trillionaires have shifted it to where it's almost a joke, but we can still get in there and carve it out. And that's what's necessary, right? It's like a lot of light workers are just kind of money phobic. They don't want to enter into that realm because there's so much dirt in it, and I get that, but yet we have to. I mean, if we had dozens more millionaires as light workers, then guess what, man? Like, we can build so much, you know? Like, look at what Kanye West is doing, you know? He's got to deal with all the Kardashians, bro. And they're wicked, man, for sure. Like, they're all in LA, and he's in Wyoming trying to develop fucking epic buildings and an epic training center. And his music is just pure light, and everything he's saying is true. He's saying slavery is the choice, which is crazy, high frequency on another level that the militant liberals will never understand. I mean, he's saying, forget about politics, take a message at face value. If you want to make America great, then that's a great message, period. It doesn't have to be like partisan, it doesn't have to be political. Just, hey, just because of the color of my skin, I'm not going to vote for a Democrat. Like, he's all about, like, wake up, you know? Stop being a victim, man. And this victim consciousness is the reason why all these people have accepted this evil, and why they're complicit in this evil, right? You know, it's a poor baby envy syndrome. It's essentially envy of God, which is why we're all here in this rehabilitation center, is because love is the foundation of free will. And so we have the ability to forget God, become envious of Him, and try to control and enjoy things around us, which is the plight that we're in. So the liberals represent the section of society that they're the poor babies, you know? They're so upset because they're not getting their way, you know? And so the conservatives are, you know, they're the light seekers, you know, the light workers. And we're here to say, hey man, it's a much bigger narrative. This is nothing. This is a blip in time. We're spiritual beings. Accountability, hard work, business, industry, capitalism is pure. So I leave that with you, man. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just realize you're a light worker, and keep your attitude high. Keep your compassion high, and fill out your schedule, and make your schedule dope. Make each half hour something you're excited about. Make each half hour something that challenges you. Make each half hour a prayer, you know, and 10x each half hour. Like, achieve crazy dreams, man. Like, if your dream is to build like a center for homeless kids, then schedule out how to build 10 centers for homeless kids, man. Make your dreams massive. And if you land at 5 centers instead of 1, that's pretty good. It's better. And don't let all this evil get you down, you know? And if you have to take a hit, just understand that it's not suffering if you're doing it out of love for God and the love for others. And yeah. And if you get inspired like this, make a video and send it to people you know. I think it's necessary. I think everybody has a voice, and our voices are valid. And if you're not fearful and you're not angry and you're compassionate and you see things clearly, your voice is more needed now than it ever has been. So don't think that your voice isn't important. So I encourage you to make videos and, you know, post them to this page or send them to your friends uniquely, but definitely consider yourself a leader and an activist in the light, you know? So I hope this helps you carry through the day, and I'll put up another one soon. Take care.